Apple cider vinegar, hype, hoax, or weight loss wonder? I've seen a lot of discussion lately about apple cider vinegar, so I decided to investigate and see if I could get to the bottom and separate fact from fiction. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Aaron Waddell with Ancestrally Aligned Health. I help busy dads to lose weight and gain energy. A decade ago, I wrecked my body trying to lose weight with a conventional advice. After a timely wake-up call, I was able to regain my health, and I spent 8 years developing a system that's simple to follow and has allowed me to heal my body and regain my health. Now, one word of warning about the studies that we'll talk about here. Most of them are involving either mice or rats, or they were with people but low numbers of people. So we have to take what they say with a grain of salt. First, I'm going to go over some myths about apple cider vinegar. The first myth is that it's a cure for diabetes. And, well, first of all, a lot of people will argue that diabetes can't be cured, that it can only be put into remission. Others will say that, once you get your insulin level to a healthy level, that it is cured. But definitely, apple cider vinegar is not capable of curing diabetes. It may help in some beneficial ways that we'll see later, but definitely it's not a cure. The second myth is that it can cause weight loss. We'll see some studies later that show that it may be helpful in losing weight and losing fat, but it can't just cure weight loss on its own. Just drinking apple cider vinegar will cause you to lose weight. The next myth is that it prevents heart disease. And while it may have some beneficial effects and maybe indirectly impact heart disease, we definitely can say that it's not a cure. Next is that people believe that it can clear up skin conditions, this like acne, eczema, that sort of thing. There's no proof of this, and it may be damaging because of the fact that the skin has a microbiome that's very sensitive, and when we just indiscriminately kill bacteria, which is what people would propose that the vinegar does, this isn't usually a good thing. As we've seen with the gut microbiota, can be very disrupted by indiscriminately killing bacteria. The next is that it will cure high blood pressure, and you'll see the word cure here a lot. A lot of things are very difficult to cure. It may help. There's some evidence that it can impact blood pressure, but we can't say that it cures high blood pressure. And this one is just ridiculous. People think that it will cure cavities, and the fact of the matter is that the high acidity level actually can be damaging to the enamel and actually cause cavities if we're not careful with how we consume the vinegar. So saying it cure cavities, I just don't see how people possibly got that, but it's definitely a myth. And the last one is that it cures PCOS, or polycystic ovarian syndrome, and there is no evidence at all that this is the case. So now you're asking, okay, so we've heard the myths now, so what does it do? Well, I found that there's several benefits that are actually backed up by research showing the benefits of apple cider vinegar. And keep in mind again about the quality of these studies. Some may be questionable, so just keep that in mind. The first is that it has been shown to lower postprandial glucose, this is your blood sugar after eating. It seems to slow the emptying of the stomach, and this is kind of hypothesized to keep the blood sugar more stable and a lower level, not causing such a spike, as it were. Second one is that it's been shown to increase satiety. So people that took it actually ended up eating less and therefore losing weight more quickly. The third one is it has been shown to lower blood pressure. And I think this was a rat study, if I'm not mistaken, that it did lower the blood pressure, and we'll kind of see the cause for this in a little bit. And then with those same studies, it did show that it led to an increased level of fat loss. Particularly, this would be the visceral fat. It seemed to cause more visceral fat and to be burned, and especially the fat around the liver and healing fatty liver as well. And then there's not a study on this, but there's anecdotal evidence that it improves GERD and acid reflux. And the way I heard this explained is that even though people think that GERD is caused by excess acid, it's actually caused by excess alkalinity, and because the causing the flap at the top of the stomach not to close completely. So that's why it's proposed that it actually helps with this, and even though there's not scientific proof of it, there's thousands of anecdotal evidence, people that have had great improvement with their GERD from taking apple cider vinegar. And just a side note, if you're liking these tips and you want to learn a whole bunch more great tips to lose weight and gain energy, and you'd like guidance to help you along your journey and techniques that'll make it easy, sign up for my course. It's called the Diesel Dad Challenge. It's coming in July. I'm so excited for it because it's really gonna be awesome, and I'm serious. I think it's gonna be life changing for people that get to take the experience of going through it. So please go to ancestrallyalignedhealth.com/challenge and get on the waiting list, and I'd love to see you there. So going back to our investigation, so you're saying that sounds great. So how does apple cider vinegar work? And so the keys to the benefits of apple cider vinegar lie in its effect on the pH level of the body. What we see is that most people are excessively alkaline, their bodies, as opposed to acidic. And this alkalinity is caused by stress and by aging. The hormone cortisone actually is kind of responsible for creating this state of alkalinity, or alkalosis as it's called. What we see is the active ingredient in apple cider vinegar, or ACV is the short form of it, is acetic acid. And the pH of acetic acid is 2.5, which is quite a low level. It's quite acidic, not as acidic as stomach acid, but it's close. It's quite strong. And I'll just say that small changes in pH have big effects. So just by changing the pH even like a fraction of a point, it can have tremendous effect on the body. So what we see is that excessive alkalinity has many negative effects. And the big one is that it causes poor calcium absorption. Like calcium into the bones where it's really meant to be, bones and the ligaments and things. And what happens is it gets absorbed by the soft tissues and also accumulates as mineral deposits. And so this causes such things as nerve pain, arthritis, and gallstones and kidney stones, and also tartar on the teeth. And then this excessive alkalinity also creates conditions like eye twitching and cramps. So if those are things that you suffer from, especially cramping. I know I do. That's something you definitely want to look at, is look at trying out apple cider vinegar and see if it helps that condition. And what we see, that the culprit in this, in all these problems, is potassium and its level in the body. And what we see is this alkalosis, this high alkalinity, causes our bodies to have a poor ability to maintain the potassium levels. So, and what we see is that most people are actually short in potassium. The standard diet is really low, and because of the soil depletion, things like that, it's hard to get enough potassium through our diet. And this low potassium causes such things as high blood pressure, constipation, and just general weakness, among other problems. So it's really a bad thing. Another factor we see is that if we eat a high protein diet, which I would recommend as being the most helpful for our body, as we get with an animal-based diet, it leads to the creation of the substance guanidine, kind of a byproduct of the kidneys for metabolizing the protein, and this has some bad effects in the body. And having a more acidic body helps to neutralize this byproduct. So that's definitely an advantage. One other thing I saw mentioned was that there's kind of a myth around vitamin C, that it's beneficial for the immune system. And I looked, and Dr. Berg was the one who said this. If you've ever watched his videos, but he, Dr. Eric Berg, that is, and he said that it really seems to be more that it's not the vitamin C per se, but it's the acid, which vitamin C is ascorbic acid, changing the pH of the body to be more acidic, and this actually aids the potassium levels and the immune system indirectly. So instead of taking vitamin C when you're sick, he suggests that maybe you just want to do apple cider vinegar to help get over the illness. And another thing I kind of looked at, and I thought about this for a little while, and what I thought is that, so apple cider vinegar hasn't been in the human diet for relatively that long a time, maybe a few thousand years, but the one thing that we see in a lot of native people and primitive tribes and stuff is in different cultures is the use of fermented foods, just being very common as a thing. And I think this kind of points to the wisdom of our ancestors, that they realized that this fermenting these foods, creating these more acid foods, was beneficial to the body. They may not have called it acid or alkaline or whatever, but I think they kind of knew, they learned what the effects of these different foods were, and I think that's a big reason why there's such a tradition of fermented foods in our diet. So it kind of made me think that maybe it's not the apple cider vinegar per se that's creating these benefits, but just the acid. So maybe any vinegar would do the same. I'm not sure of that, but that's kind of my thought. So you're sold. You're going to use apple cider vinegar. So how do you use it? Well, a couple notes I found is that you want to take it in small amounts. So this is 15 to 30 millimeters, or 1 to 2 tablespoons if you're using the English system like I do. Another question they have is, everyone recommends that you get the apple cider vinegar brand, like Bragg's, or the one, I mean, a lot of them have it. The one at Costco has it, but that they have the mother, which is kind of it's kind of slimy thing that sits at the bottom of the jar, and you have to shake it up and get it to mix in there. So, and again, I don't know how beneficial that is, but I would say that, just, I mean, it doesn't cost really that much more to get the one that has the mother, so just, I would recommend just get it that way. And I don't think it's going to hurt you for sure, and maybe it has benefits that we don't know of. And then great way to use it is to mix it in dressings. Like if you're using for salad, you mix it with like olive oil, so you make like a nice dressing with olive oil and apple cider vinegar. Or you can also use that same dressing as like a dipping sauce for your meat. So even if you're not eating salads, which I wouldn't recommend anybody eat salads, but if you do, that's fine with me. But to create, you can create a sauce to use for dipping your meat in, and that's quite delicious that way. And then another, and this was recommended by Dr. Kent Berry. He has a drink called Ketorade. So it's kind of a Gatorade, but a keto version of Gatorade to help you get through keto flu and just kind of boost your electrolytes and you use it like during intermittent fasting and that sort of thing. Just a couple of warnings I found. It's not clear if this is if it's safe for diabetics to take apple cider vinegar. There's some benefits shown, but it's not absolutely clear, and it is tough on the kidneys. So if you've been told you have like impacted kidney function, it's definitely something you want to discuss with your doctor. And if you're taking any kind of medications that either diuretics, high blood pressure medicines, or anything would be considered water pills, that you need to be careful and probably consult with a physician. And just a disclaimer, all this information, it's for informational purposes, educational purposes only, and it is not medical advice. So if you have any questions, please consult with your doctor. And here's just the recipe for the Ketorade I was talking about earlier. You put 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, half a teaspoon of salt. No salt, which is a potassium-based salt substitute. It's also called new salt, I believe. I think there's some other names for it, but you can find it in the store. A half a teaspoon of good sea salt, and I recommend Redmond's. It's mined from a dead sea in Utah, and it's just really, really good, high quality salt. The juice of half a lime or lemon. You can add a few drops of stevia. I think he recommends 5 to 10 if you're gonna add this. I don't add it personally, but if you like to, you can. And then you add that all to a quart or liter container, preferably in a glass container, and then fill the rest with either sparkling or flat water. And I like to use my SodaStream. I bought one of those to make sparkling water with, and it works really great, and cuts down on the amount of bottles that need to be recycled. And just some closing thoughts I had. So I wasn't doing apple cider vinegar before I did this video, but I've after doing this research, I kind of think it's a good idea. Maybe I'll give it a shot. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it for 2 weeks, and using the Ketorade recipe, and just see how it goes. And especially now it's getting hotter, I need to drink more water. It's like 100 degrees here today, so it's definitely a good idea to be drinking more water and see that helps. Like I said, I do get leg cramps at night, so let's see if maybe that it helps with that, and just see how it goes. I'll let you guys know. And thanks so much again for watching, guys. And like I said, just a reminder, wait list is open for my challenge, ancestrallyalignedhealth.com/challenge, and it's the Diesel Dad 30-day weight loss challenge. So if you're a busy dad but you've got weight you want to lose, and you're tired and having trouble chasing your kids around, and getting good energy for your job, then please check it out. And like I said, I think it's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited to get started on it, and I hope to see you there. And again, this is Aaron Waddell with Ancestrally Aligned Health, and I'll see you next time with more great weight loss tips.